Beauty, in the end, is not merely a physical condition, it is fundamentally a posture, a way of being, an attitude toward oneself and toward life. When we carefully observe situations of infidelity, whether a man betrays a woman or a woman betrays a man, we discover something quite revealing. In most cases, people do not leave their partner for someone objectively more attractive. Instead, they often choose someone who knows how to caress the ego, someone who knows how to say the right words, even if those same words later poison their existence. These people know how to whisper, "You are incredible. You are unique. You are the best. No one compares to you." And that, precisely, feeds the ego. That is the true engine behind many betrayals. Ego nourishment. If there is a personality structure where this dynamic becomes most evident, it is within narcissism. Narcissistic individuals are especially vulnerable to this mechanism because they constantly need external validation. The narcissist, particularly the male narcissist, since statistically the vast majority still belong to this group, tends to seek out a partner who is very physically attractive. Why do I emphasize men? Because roughly 99% of classical narcissistic profiles are male. However, it is also true that narcissistic traits have been increasing among women. This rise is closely linked to social changes. Women have entered the workforce, have broken the glass ceiling, and have begun participating in systems of competition that were historically male-dominated. As a result, certain dynamics emerge: competition, obsession with success, the need to stand out, the desire to be exceptional, to dominate, to be admired. All of this revolves around grandiosity, which is the core characteristic of narcissism. When a narcissist enters into a relationship, the partner often becomes a kind of trophy, something to display, almost like an accessory hanging from a keychain. It is disturbing because the person is not loved for who they are, but used as a means for admiration. What the narcissist truly desires is applause, recognition, approval from others. Let me pause here and introduce a concept that I find extremely important: the extension of the self. What does this mean? It means that the boundaries of the self expand to include objects, symbols, and external validations. Suddenly, the self is no longer limited to one's inner identity. The self now includes branded shoes, luxury cars, expensive watches, applause, compliments, likes, and admiration. A Lamborghini becomes part of who I am. Designer shoes become part of who I am. Praise becomes part of who I am. This phenomenon is strongly amplified by the digital world. Today, it is not only a small social circle that reflects an image back to us. Social media platforms constantly reinforce identity through approval or rejection. As shown in the Netflix documentary, The Social Dilemma, people are not only criticized online, they are also excessively praised. And paradoxically, believing you are extraordinary because strangers applaud, you can be even more dangerous than feeling insecure because someone insults you. When I stretch myself in this way and begin identifying with objects and external recognition, those elements start to define me. If someone tells me, "What beautiful shoes you have," and I respond, "Thank you," I am subtly making a mistake. The shoes are not me. The shoes should be the ones saying thank you, not my identity. The same applies if someone says, "What an incredible car you own." I answer, "Thank you," but again, the car is not me. When this confusion deepens, it also affects relationships. The partner becomes another extension of the self. The narcissist identifies with the beauty of their partner and becomes emotionally attached to it. And this is where the suffering begins for many women involved with narcissistic men. The partner's appearance is constantly monitored, criticized, controlled. What happened here? You look a little wrinkled. And if the narcissist happens to be married to a plastic surgeon, the torment can be even worse. All of this unfolds within a broader cultural context, what we could call post-modernity, a time where everything goes, where excessive relativism dominates, where ideology is diluted, where pleasure is prioritized, and where tolerance for discomfort is extremely low. Love, inevitably, gets caught in this same framework. There is a book whose title perfectly captures this dynamic. I loved you so much that I forgot myself. And that sentence describes many modern relationships with brutal accuracy. We live in an era that constantly speaks about autonomy and independence, yet paradoxically, indicators of emotional dependency remain unchanged, while self-esteem levels continue to decline. If I possess healthy self-esteem and realize that being with you requires me to erase myself, then the logical response would be to leave. I pack my bags and go. You simply do not fit into my life. But what often happens instead is gradual surrender. I give in and then give in again. I begin negotiating what should never be negotiated. I justify what should never be justified. I tolerate what should never be tolerated. I even start compromising my own principles, and principles should always stand above love. Eventually, something breaks. One day, I look at myself in the mirror and no longer recognize who I am. I feel lost, fragmented, disconnected, and if I am fortunate, something deep within my humanity awakens. At that moment, I look at my reflection and ask, what am I doing here? How did I end up like this? That moment is not reform, it is revolution, an inner revolution. That is why love is subversive, and the awakening from unhealthy love is equally subversive. As long as we continue to understand love through the myth of romantic idealization, relationships will remain fragile, unstable, and permanently exposed to external threats. Wherever we are, love will be under siege. Sometimes I think, perhaps it sounds strange, but society should have something like a ministry of love or a ministry of self-worth. Children should be taught from a very young age how to lose, how to tolerate frustration, and above all, how to accept themselves unconditionally. Not inflated self-esteem, but genuine self-acceptance. People often ask, so what if I am not attractive? What am I supposed to do? The answer is simple. If you are a normal person, do not chase impossible ideals. Do not look for a supermodel who measures 1.90 meters if that is not your world. Why not look for someone who brings peace into your life? The same applies to women chasing a Brad Pitt figure. What would you even do with a Brad Pitt? It would be exhausting. Thousands of people would constantly desire him. What truly matters is understanding what we fall in love with. We do not fall in love with muscles, bones, tibias, fibulas, thighs, or buttocks. We fall in love with personality, with the way someone walks, with their laughter, with small gestures, with how safe they make us feel. I remember when I was about 15 years old, I fell in love with a girl whom everyone mocked at school. They called her Miss Kangaroo because of the way she walked. And I fell in love precisely with her walk. We fall in love because we feel protected, because we feel at home. To love is also to admire. And to admire means recognizing virtues, resources, and qualities in another person that we find meaningful and extraordinary. Physical attraction does matter, yes, but it is not the determining factor. It may be the initial spark for an adventure, as anthropologists like Helen Fisher explain. because biology and evolution are oriented toward reproduction. There's even fascinating research that illustrates this. Men are asked to wear a shirt and sweat in it. Then women, without seeing the men, are asked to smell the shirts and choose which scent they find most attractive. In 90% of cases, women choose men with opposite immune systems. Why? Because it increases the chances of healthy offspring, without seeing them, only through smell. Just imagine how many variables participate in attraction. And then ask yourself how simplistic it is to reduce love to appearance alone. Before you go, take a moment. Thank yourself for being here, for listening, for showing up today. You don't have to have everything figured out. Just keep taking small steps. I'll see you in the next story.